Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the very first NGS Mead Hall. Brought to you for the season 3 kickoff meeting here. This is one of your admins, Smithel, but I'm joined tonight by plenty other members of the admin team. We got staff team. I'm sorry. We got Arch, Kozer, Quant, Zed, Tempest. Voodoo sadly could not make it tonight. He had a family event, but he wishes everybody well. So what we want to kind of do for you guys here tonight to get started is we're going to run you through, some Season 3 changes from Season 2, introduce to you guys, what's going to be going on, let you guys know your divisions, how all the placements went down, all that good stuff, and, then basically at the very end we're going to hold a quick Q&A to help, excuse me, help it, answer any questions that maybe you guys still have. So, before I get started, though, if you guys don't mind, if you guys ever come across an admin in chat or any of the mods or Zed or Tempest or, like I said, Voodoo or Murda for running our social channels, man, give them a quick thank you because the past week or two has been a controlled wildfire, we'll call it. We've had lots of 2, 3 a.m. mornings trying to get you guys all placed and make this all fair and get Season 3 to be the best season that we have. So, just basically give everybody a quick thank you if you run across an admin. Let them know you appreciate the work, but it should be a good season. So what we're going to do to start everybody off here is we are going to bring in our fearless leader, Archangel, and he's going to get us started here with some of the, the basic intro stuff. Arch, you there?
Hey, thanks for having me, Chris, and thank you everybody for showing up and participating in our first NGS Mead Hall. Also, the admin team and staff team. Up first, we definitely wouldn't be here without them and the long nights. He's not kidding when we had debates until 3 a.m. just about every day this week and last week. And I also want to give a shout out to the community because without you guys, we would not be this far. So let's get started. Quick overview of what we're going over today. As a state of the league, we have a new Patreon. As you know, it takes money to run this, so we have a way for you to donate and get some rewards for it. We've decided with all the kind of drama we had last couple of seasons, we have some new official rules for the league. We'll be posting those later. There's a new caster overlay and executable that was designed by our head caster, 7th Ace, and it is awesome. We also have, thanks to Quintaka, also known as Martin, please send him a lot of thank yous for hundreds of hours in designing a website from the ground up for NGS. So we're going to go over that. Also, we're replacing that old Saturday Night Live events for the community with the NGS Coliseum event. We are super excited about this one. This season was crazy. We had about 60 teams sign up for Season 3. We had to redo everything, which leads us into why we have a whole new division breakdown for Season 3. And we're also going to close it off for the night before the Q&A with a Season 3 match of the week preview. And we're going to also give you your division placements that you have all been waiting for. Mm-hmm. So with that, let's hop into the first topic of the night, Patreon. So with Patreon, we're allowing the community to help us out more than you already have. We'd like to give some rewards to people who can help us donate, but we wanted to make sure that it didn't affect any fairness within the league. So with that, you can click on the nexusgamingseries.com/Patreon and it'll pull you up to our donation page. As you know, the league costs money to run and us admin pay for it out of pocket. It's starting to add up because with the league this big, we have to pay for a lot of things such as servers, development, copyright fees, etc. So we're trying to start building up so we can protect ourselves from getting sued and also make sure this runs smoothly for you. So some of the rewards we have, it's only $5 a month for you to pitch in if you'd like to become a supporter. Priority streaming is one of the first tiers there. We're giving it to you where with this many teams, it's hard to cast all the matches. There are so many matches this season. So if you're a patron, your team will have priority when it comes to casting and streaming those matches. There is a specific patron role and channel within our own Discord, which you can have chats amongst other patrons. We are also doing patron-only statistics. So we're still going to have Zed, who does his awesome work with stats. We're going to release them as the general community stats, the matches of the week, etc., right? But patron only statistics will include anything that they ask for. If they got a match coming up, they can message Zed if they're a patron and say, hey, we'd like the stats for this upcoming match. How are we looking? Also, replay analysis. We're looking at providing a free replay analysis for those patrons if they ask. And also, our latest reward for being a patron is that if you don't have a team logo, Voodoo made several last season that people loved. So if you need a logo and you're a patron, you can ask him and he'll go ahead and create one for you. So that's a quick overview of it. The next topic, the whole website, it's built 100% from the ground up. Thanks, Martin. Countless hours. If I could pay him, I would, but I don't have $100,000, so he's kind of SOL. But you can find us at nexusgamingseries.com. As most of you know, we had to have you guys sign up there. We're still creating it. It's constantly being updated, and we're working on future applications for it. So give us time, give us feedback, let us know if there's glitches, and please make sure you message Martin. And with that said, back to Smithel, and he's going to run through the NGS Coliseum for us.
Here, before we get there, though, real quick, I actually want to bring back in Martin here to talk a little bit more about that website. I know you mentioned that, there's some future things that we're looking for. There's also a lot of changes that we're aiming for this season, whether it be stories, things like that. Martin, are you on and able to possibly just give us a quick rundown as to what we would be, expecting to see out of the website this season?
Yes, absolutely. So, as you guys know, we made you guys sign up there so we can track you a little better and know what you guys are doing. So, with that being said, we want you guys to basically make this your one-stop shop for everything for the league. So, scheduling matches, finding your match, finding scrims, finding a free agent, whatever it is, will be over there. We're currently working on a replay parser. We're working on getting more stats to you. Everything that kind of matters in your performance in HOTS, well, it will probably be there at one point. Currently, our biggest focus is that you guys can find your matches there, that we have the data we need to serve you better. So if you find anything wrong there, please let me know, message me, DM me, whatever. I'll try to help you out, I'll try to fix it, and then we'll take it from there.
Awesome, thanks, Martin. So we're gonna kind of move on, and the next topic that we want to talk about is Coliseum. But very quickly before we start into this, I know Arch mentioned that we have for the Patreon things like the priority streaming and things like that for the matches. And again, we're never gonna make you guys pay for this league. It's a free league. We want to keep you guys able to play this game and just have some fun. But because we are trying to prioritize streams, and we have over, I think, 500 matches, or not matches, but actual rounds of HOT that we're going to play, 200 some matches, we are looking for quality streamers and casters. And so if you have any kind of interest in becoming a caster for the Season 3, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, we are having a training session and a quick rules review. And we're also going to kind of make sure that we get the new executable and everything that 7th made out to everybody, so you guys get a chance to set up your overlays and all that good stuff. So by all means, feel free to stop by tomorrow. You'll see us all in Lobby 1 as we're going through it, and then we can assign out those roles as necessary. But anyway, so NGS Coliseum, as Arch said, this is something that we wanted to do for you guys. That maybe aren't on a team or are on a team but want to play with people, that aren't on your team, or just interact with the community in a different way. In the past, what we used to do is have a Saturday night, and we actually called it the Saturday Night Shit Show. And we've kind of steered away from that. We wanted to rebrand it, make it something new, and make it something that people can participate in, whether a free agent or a team player. And so we decided to launch the NGS Coliseum. And what this is it's going to be a casual weekend seasonal event. So the idea is going to be that it's going to run the same time as the regular NGS season, but it's going to be a weekend event, so for people to participate. This particular season, the way we're doing it is the rules are going to change week from week. So the players that you see on the right-hand side of your screen right now, they know that they are signed up, but they have no clue what is coming for next Saturday. We are having you guys vote right now on what you want the challenge to be, but the only hint that we are giving away is the challenge name. So hopefully at that point you guys can kind of start trying to figure out what you think it's going to be and vote that way. And then I encourage everybody to tune in on Saturday night to kind of start seeing these guys go at it once we release the rules to what that's going to be the day before. And every week the teams are going to be mixed up. It's single elimination. So once somebody loses a match, they are out, and we are going to keep moving forward until we have one man standing. And I know we have a pretty cool trophy that we are going to be awarding to the person that wins the NGS Coliseum. So by all means, keep checking in, see how these guys do, cheer on your favorite, and keep an eye out for the in the channel for when we have the community vote for various aspects of it. So even if you're not a player, you can help influence how this goes down. So again, stay active, keep an eye out for it. And if you didn't get in it this season, by all means, look for the next season, and hopefully we can get you guys in it that way. So let's cut it back over to Arch real quick, and we are actually going to move into the meat and potatoes of our topic tonight, and that is going to be the main Season 3. Arch, you ready to take this over?
Ready to crush it, man. All right, Season 3. We're all here for. So, quick overview. There is an entire new division breakdown. This amount of teams, we had to make a lot of decisions. So we decided to tackle one of our biggest complaints from last season's, and that was scheduling. So we're moving away from just the A, B, and C divisions. Right now, we're going to have Division B and Division C have been split by coasts into two different individual divisions within those. So like Division B, we're going to have Division B East and Division B West. The central teams have been split to make sure that the MMRs are fair across the board. So hope you guys are going to enjoy that. We're really hoping to improve scheduling. We realize East Coast, it was really hard for you with flexibility. If you have work, it's hard to stay up till 2 a.m. for, Pacific time to be able to be done with dinner and get able to play. So we're also hoping this will get more games casted. We're truly hoping that with the awesome caster team we've kind of broke it up between them, and they'll have priority if they're on East Coast, cast the East Coast games, and vice versa for the West Coast games. With that said, we hope you guys like this. We're going to jump into how the divisions are split and placements. Let's give this a shot. And once again, please thank your admin team, because I cannot tell you how many nights we spent debating on how do we handle almost 60 teams. So if we're going to, I think Kozer's up, right, Chris?
Yeah, so we're going to actually move this to Kozer, and we're going to get you guys to what I'm sure you're all wondering. And let's move into the first division. So Kozer, why don't you let me know when you're on, and we will start reviewing Division A teams.
Okay, so Division A is going to also be 13 teams. It's going to be a 7-week season. There's going to be 2 games a week, just standard like it used to be, for 6 weeks, and then 1 week with only 1 game. And playoffs will be top 8 teams. So the first team is Cronies, coming in hots, comfort picks, fratres, macaroni and cheese, Moto, Tater Esports, love that logo, Team Caliber, Team GG, Team Reborn, To Be Determined, Triton Heroes, and UT Arlington.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty big, and pretty interesting division. I mean, there's a lot of high quality teams here. I'm excited to see it. Excited to see kind of how this goes on. And did you talk a little bit about the playoffs, or did I miss it as I was clicking through their codes? I'm sorry.
I talked a little bit about the playoffs. Playoffs is going to be top 8 teams. I don't know. I don't remember this part. If we discussed how that's going to be going for the full season, like how many weeks the playoffs are going to be.
Yeah, it's basically Division A. You guys have the least amount of changes compared to the previous season. So it's just going to be the top 8 teams, and then we're going to run it through that way. So it's going to be 1 versus 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, and 4 and 5 versus each other, and then the winners of all those matches obviously moving on until we can crown a champion for the division. So you guys, if you were part of the league last time, you know what's happening. And you should be relatively prepared. If you're new to it, it's pretty straightforward, easy to follow. We're hoping you guys are excited about that as we are. Any final comments on Division A, Kozer?
Well, also, by the way, because I'm reading the chat, these are just alphabetical. These are not actually ranked by MMR and who's in the top of the division. So,
Yeah,
because I read something.
yeah, we should have probably said that in advance. Everything you see right now, nothing is ranked from 1 to 10 or whatever the case may be. It is just placed on a screen. So don't get panicky if you see yourself at the top and say I shouldn't be there. Okay.
This is just your division that you're in. That's
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
And if you have a question about you know that we only had 4 teams stay the same from last season. So we're talking minimum 50 new teams, new, team members. So even if you were in Div C last time and did really well, you expect to be Div B this time. MMRs were completely different this time, so we revamped how we did all of the placements. So don't try to gauge it off last season. We did look at the team's performance and individual performance along with the standard MMRs that we pulled to do your adjustments. If you have questions about it, we're happy to answer them, but know that we took a lot of time to make sure we did it right.
Exactly. Okay.
Also, I'm reading right now, as the divisions go live, Martin Quantaga has actually been releasing the schedule on the website. So anyone who's in Division A that's here, if you want to find out who you're facing, the schedule is live right now. So just log into the nexusgamingseries.com and go check it out there.
Yeah, and we will give you a little bit of a sneak peek coming up here shortly of what to expect for Season 1 anyway, as we go into a little bit more of some of the stats and such that Zed and Tempest have been helping us with and are going to be providing to the league and to patrons, as the season progresses. So, stay tuned. Don't feel like you have to jump away to the site right this second if you're still curious of what's going on. But with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to Division B. So this is where things start getting a little bit different from the previous season. Division B and Division C are going to be split east and west, as Arch stated. What we tried to do is we tried to take those central teams, or the teams that indicated that they are mainly central players, and we use them to kind of balance out each division. Now, the way that this is going to work is going to be, if you are a fan of hockey at all, you kind of know how they do playoffs and the championship. Is we are going to, when it comes down to the playoff time, the top 4 teams in each division are going to face off in their respective divisions, and then ultimately we are going to have the final championship game be East versus West. So you will not play against the other, the other division, unless it is for that championship game, or we do any kind of fun games or anything like that throughout the season. But it may be kind of a good opportunity for you guys too, to find like-minded teams and similar skill teams in the other division and scrim them, because you're not going to be giving away strategies that you may need to use throughout the season. So hopefully this also makes it easier for you guys to schedule games. A lot of casters last season said they had an issue if they were East Coast teams and West Coast casters were picking up East Coast games. So it led to a lot of games not being casted, things like that. So this way casters can focus on the games that are on their coast. And hopefully this leads to better casting and everything for everybody else. So, as Quant said, East is now released on and West are now released on the website for Division B. So, if you are there, you can go to that website and start checking it out and getting a little bit of a heads up as to what you guys should expect. So, what I'm going to do now, too, is I'm going to bring in Quant Martin, as what we call him, and he's going to kind of go through Division C for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Division C has a very similar format to Division B. Again, we split them into West and East for the simple reason of having them separated in time zones and make it easy for scheduling. Personally, I'm on the West Coast, so I always feel pretty bad when I have to schedule with East Coast teams because I can't get out of work early and then I'll drive home for an hour because it's wonderful Los Angeles. And so I don't really want to make them wait or want them to wait until 10 or 11, so it's just not fair for them. So with this format, this makes it really, really easy for both divisions to schedule it. And this, it was already said, showing strats and hiding strats is a big thing of this. Yes, I know, we're not professionals, we're an amateur league. Still, like if you have the ultimate cheese, you wanna hide that. So it works pretty well. Give me like 2 seconds, I will set those live on the website, and then we got to go from there.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, and we kind of see, some questions like saying, hey, why are we on the coast, things like that. If you indicated whenever we were kind of asking, for you guys to register your team and such, what time zone you were. If you said you were Central or West, we put you in West, or if you said you were Central or East, you could be in East. So that's kind of how we made that. So it's all based upon exactly kind of what you guys submitted out to us. So if there's any kind of issues or misclicks or anything like that, that's kind of how it got situated. But we are going to kind of move forward again. We'll take more questions as we get towards the end here. And I want to bring in 2 people that helped us very, very much, 2 members of our staff, as we were starting to work through placements and try to figure out what's fair and things like that, that are also going to be providing you guys with some high-quality statistics and article write-ups and all that good stuff throughout the season. And that is going to be our buddy Zed and Tempest. Are you guys on the mic?
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? So why don't you give us, and I know we're kind of on Schedule A, but we'll kind of flip through it and all that kind of stuff. But give us a little bit of a breakdown of what you guys are looking for.
Well, so every week we are going to propose a game of the week. Now, this game is going to be between teams that are either really highly ranked in their division, so maybe a first place versus a second place, or 2 teams that are fighting for a playoff spot, so somewhere in between, a 7th and a 9th team playing each other for a spot. We're also going to keep track of other interesting storylines and rivalries between teams. And so for week 1, we've decided to feature Coming in Hots and Team Caliber. Team Caliber is a new exciting team that we're excited to look at, see how they perform, as well as you can see the rest of your schedule here, as well as in the website.
Yeah, and Div A especially, because we had so many team changes and things like that. If you are not sponsored as the game of the week this week, don't sit there and panic and think like, oh my god, we're not great, or these 2 are the best teams, or everything like that. It was very hard for us to determine what is going to be the Div A game of the week. Because we do have a lot of newcomers brought in, and team swaps and things like that. So we did the best we could on this one, but again, expect you guys to be sponsored throughout. Am I good to move on, Zed?
Go ahead.
Okay, Div B West.
So for Div B West, we are featuring this week Divine 9 and Subject to Change. For this matchup, these 2 are in the we're expected to do really well in their division, and they're really close in terms of the MMR that we looked at, and we think this will be a very competitive match between these 2 teams.
Yeah, and they're also pretty close to, since with Div B, it's top 4 teams from each side. Now the 4th place team is kind of the playoff bubble, and both of these teams are in really good spots if they win well to avoid the bubble or to get in. So it should be a really fun match to see. They're also really similar, so it'll be fun.
Awesome. So let's move to Div B East then. Why don't we talk a little bit about what we expect to see from them?
Now, Div B East is a really interesting division because you will see a lot of teams that participated last year all together in one division. Also, a lot of the administrators ended up in this division as well, so you'll get to see your favorite admins play against each other here. And the game of the week, we're featuring Order of the Sleeping Dragon versus Game of Thrones. Sleeping Dragon made it to the finals last season, and so they're hoping to do well again this season. And Game of Thrones is another team that we think is really strong that could be competing with them.
Awesome. Any thoughts from you, Tempest, before we move on?
Poor Murda, he has to choose between a region and Order of the Sleeping Dragon. That was another pretty fun game for this week. But yeah, Game of Thrones and Order of the Sleeping Dragon should be a really fun matchup. Honestly, I can't tell who's going to win. Probably a tie, but who knows? We'll see.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go to Division C then, and we're going to start with the West Coast game.
Now, Division C teams are really exciting to watch. I was in Division C last season, and those games were always very exciting. The teams that we're featuring is Disbanded and the Ghost Clones. By the way, Disbanded has one of my favorite logos this season, and it was made in like 5 minutes real quick, but it looks nice, by the way. Other than that, we have some returning Division C teams, such as Clouded Minds and Frankfurters in late game, though, in Div C West, and so we're excited to see how they perform.
Yeah, this game of the week is actually going to be really hype for both sides. Both have some really star players, so I'm expecting a lot of fun shootouts from them.
Awesome, awesome. And let me jump in real quick. So we just got hosted by Bad Benny Hots, so we have 331 viewers. For the people that have come over from the host, first, let me say welcome. What you guys have walked into is the Nexus Gaming Series, which is a amateur Heroes of the Storm, basically league. And what we are talking about right now is we are launching our Season 3 beginning next week. And it's a great league. By all means, we're going to have some admins post in the chat some links if you want to check us out, see what we're about, maybe get into a little bit of competitive HOTS at any level, whether you're a bronze player or a grandmaster. By all means, come check us out. It's a great league. Stick around, see if you guys have any kind of questions, anything that you guys want to know about the league. We are doing a Q&A after. But we hope you guys maybe get a little bit of piqued interest. And again, thanks for the host. So let's move to Division C East. Zed and Tempest, what are we looking at as far as these teams are concerned?
So Division C East was very packed with a lot of Eastern teams, and we have Winston Church Manatees. I think one of the most creative team names we have this season versus Onslaught. We featured these two teams because we think they'll be very competitive towards the final of the season to represent the East versus against the West in the finals. And it also features Duratan's Couch, a returning champion, and they were one of the few teams that brought back their players, and they're looking for a repeat.
Exactly.
Keeping on that match of the week. Winston Churchill Manatees have a really good star player in Falendrith, but Onslaught has non-tech to lead them, so basically it's going to be the stars fighting each other. Should be really fun.
Yeah, it should be definitely an interesting division. And again, I want everybody that's kind of new to the league or new to the channel or anything like that. Division C does not mean necessarily bad players or anything like that. We have some very high-level players in Division C, that kind of pan out across multiple teams. So by all means, whenever these games get casted and streamed, check them out. They're some of the best to watch in my opinion. I enjoy them. I enjoy a lot of the players there. So don't sit there and think that, Division A is the only thing that matters or anything like that, because that is certainly not the case this season, for sure, because we've had such a shakeup between Season 2 and Season 3. And like Arch said, only 4 teams returned exactly as they were. So a lot of teams and a lot of rosters have changed. So it is going to be a very, very interesting season for sure. So what we're going to do is kind of really, really quickly, Zed and Tempest are going to cover one more slide here for us, which is going to be some of the stats that they are going to be putting out for the season, whether it be for patrons, if you want to support our Patreon, and we'll make sure we put that link once again in the Twitch chat. For anybody that, again, likes what they see, want to help support this community, and maybe get a couple little perks from it. Again, anything that we give away as patron rewards are not pay to win or anything like that. It's all stuff you're able to calculate out yourself, find yourself, and do all that kind of good stuff. It's just more or less our way of giving you little thank yous for helping support the league. And all that kind of good stuff, and it's actually a very good chat channel. Some of the people in there are a lot of fun. We've been having a lot of good jokes and conversations with people predicting where they're going to end up this season, and all that kind of good stuff. So by all means, if you can and are able to support, we would greatly appreciate that. If you aren't, you never have to. You can come and play for free, and it should be a good time. But let me pass it back over to Zed and Tempest. and they can basically go over a little bit more of these stats that we can expect to see from these guys.
All right, Tempest, you want to take the first couple?
Yeah. So each week, based on Zed's stats, we'll be choosing the games of the week, and then I'll be doing write ups so that anyone, patron or non patron, can see what the game of the week is, what we think about it, who's more likely to do a 2-0, because most of the matches we pick as game of the week are probably very high likely like 1-1 ties. But it's going to be our job to say, if some team's going to 2-0, it's probably going to be that team. And then for Patreons, we're actually going, at your request, we'll be writing game of the week's similar articles for your team specifically as well. All right. So, and then after the games happen, the game of the week recap, we'll just be writing. It'll be similar to what Zed did for postseason last year. We'll be looking at analyzing stats, top players at the game, etc. Speaking of stats, Zed, off to you.
All right. So we will be collecting replays this season for every game, and we'll be able to track individual stats for every player. So we'll see how many kills you get, how much XP you collect, siege damage, things like that, and we'll have a leaderboard showing the top 10 or so players in every stat, as well as keeping track of teams at team level stats and what are the best performing teams in KDA. Or something. So these will be updates to the website during the season as it progresses. I will also be providing match odds. Those are things that I'm using an ELO model to predict which teams will beat others to make forecasts and predictions with. Those will be available for the game of the week and for patrons. I'll have projected standings, so based on how teams are currently performing, where are they projected to finish the season, as well as playoff pictures once that gets closer, showing what teams need to do in order to reach the playoffs. And at the very end of the season, I'm going to try to do again the awards to the player who got the most kills or the player who died the least and things like that for the end of the season awards. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. As the season progresses, these stats should get more robust as they collect more data, get more certainty with the results.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and also I'm not just a stats person. I'm also the writer for NGS, one of them. So if you have an article idea for me about the meta or looking at a certain team or whatever, just DM me on Discord, and I'll look at it. I'll try to write it.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback off that, Tempest has done some really good preseason interviews with some of the new teams and returning teams. So again, you can find all that on our webpage. Some of the work that he's done, some of the stuff that we've been putting up. But by all means, go check it out, see what there is. And if you want to be interviewed as a team or you want to basically be featured or any kind of way, reach out to Tempest and we'll basically see what we can do. Like I said, this is a community league. We are here for you guys. We want to make sure that, you guys are enjoying yourself, having fun, building friendships, enjoying good competition, all that stuff. So anything we can do to help with that and make it work, by all means, let us know. We're here for you guys to help support you that way. So what we're going to do now, too, is we're going to move this into a open Q&A session. So I'm going to ask, again, all of our admins, staff, mods that are on the line, make sure your mics are unmuted so we can kind of work around you guys, get everything that we need to do. But if you have any questions for any of us in the admin team or staff team or anything like that, put them in Twitch chat now. We will try to answer as many as we can. I would ask if you have any questions similar to why am I specifically here or something like that. Maybe don't ask that now because it would require us to go back, pull a lot of numbers, look at you individually, and things like that. But if you have any kind of betterment for the community questions or general season 3 or what we're planning in the future, or who we are, it doesn't matter like that. By all means, post it up here. We'll answer as many as we can in the time that we are permitting. And if questions start dying off, we'll end it and see you guys in season 3. So let me see. Do we have anything now?
One question right now that I've seen, is this only in NA? Yes, it's only in North America.
Yeah.
European teams are welcome, but they're going to have to play on NA servers. So
yeah, we do have a couple people in South America and things like that, but we play on NA servers, so you are going to have to deal with your ping. One day would it be nice to be, an EU or something like that league? Sure. Do we have the capabilities for that right this second? Not right away. So yeah, if you are not an NA player but want to play, just understand there may be some ping issues since we play on NA servers.
Unaverta has a great question right there. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yep, and I'll take that one. So unaverted, replay submissions are required. We're looking into building a replay parser, but rather than you guys go through the trouble of submitting the forms like we had last season, we're going to have a format in the Discord channel that you will submit your replay files along with, your bands and, pretty much who won each one. And we will go through and pull the data manually until our replay parser is up and ready. So I hope that answers your question. We couldn't get the replay parser up in time, and we apologize for that. With all the new things we were doing, we decided that probably wasn't priority, since really it just alleviates work for us, and we'd rather alleviate work for you since this is a community league.
Another great question that popped up is Alt asks, are there any plans yet for future expansions, something like a premium league? Arch, you want to kind of talk about it, what we would like to maybe do in the future, or if we have anything set in stone kind of right now?
So one of the big questions we get, and whatnot.
You're cutting out, dude.
You're cutting out, Arch.
Yeah, dude, you can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so there's several things that we have planned for future expansions. However, we are looking at doing kind of a premium status where we'll provide you more stuff. It's going to be kind of an updated version of Patreon, and it won't make anything unfair. You'll just get some more perks. We haven't really dove into that because we don't want to become chair league or anything. So we're trying to avoid it. We are looking into pro divisions. We understood after last season that we had a lot of semi-pro pro teams, and being an amateur league, it's really hard to kind of place them accurately because most of our teams are around a Division B MMR level, and we definitely don't want to just have Div A teams crush. So we are looking at doing a semi-pro pro division specifically. This season, the MMRs were kind of moved around because many of the top Div A teams actually are participating in HGC, so they weren't with us this season. But those are kind of our future plans for now. Maybe someday if we get really big, we'll switch to also having EU, etc. But that's so far down the line, we haven't gotten there.
Awesome. Z4Y1 asks, are all games going to be casted on the NGS Twitch or the individual casters? If it's okay with you guys, I can answer this. So
take it, brother.
So what we are doing is we are still following the same path that we did last season. And I don't know, Z4Y1, if you were a league member or not last season, but we are going to be primarily using individual casters. Now, what we do have, and I'm going to be going over this with the casters tomorrow, is we have created on Twitch a Nexus Gaming Series community. And we are going to be asking casters to make sure that they list that on their dashboard when they go live. So you guys will be able to go ahead and access any stream that is going on at the time, see who is being casted and all that good stuff. So you can follow your friends, the teams that you like, cheer on everybody, everything like that. But we do like the individual casters to be able to kind of input their own flavor into what they are doing. There are going to be some set rules and things like that that everybody's going to be following, so it's not going to be, basically the Wild West. But because of the number of matches that we have, like I said, it's over 200 plus matches this season that are going to be played. If we were to cast them all on the NGS Twitch alone, it would never stop, and we would have people going 24/7. So it's physically impossible. However, when we get to things such as the playoffs or any kind of major event, such as these town halls, they are going to be on the NGS Twitch page where you are at today. And again, while we speak about the town halls, again, if you get a chance, thank the people that are already patrons. they are allowing us to do things like this because it does take time, it does take work to put things like this together. Since we hit certain goals, we decided we were going to do these kind of town halls. So if you want to see more of them, again, and you can't afford to help back us, by all means, go to the Patreon. If not, that's perfectly fine too. But your casters will be casting the games on their own channels, and you can see when they go live right in the NGS Discord station or Discord channel. Typically, the casters are pretty good about giving an hour warning or 15-minute warning or anything like that. And we do have a bot that posts whenever they go live too.
There's a question that I think Arc needs to respond to. Is there going to be a prize pool?
So everybody, with this season, not
Dude, you're like
losing you again, buddy.
Arc, how about you? Can we switch the NGS server right now settings from US West to maybe Central and see if Arc sounds better?
Let me check.
So while we get that kind of situated out, let me see.
Probably answer other questions. Okay, what's this about the Icelandic blanket returning? What has it been responded to? Because it's being asked a lot.
That is I mean, I guess we'll let is he Bludgeon? I don't know if he's back. I think he's gone. I believe.
I don't think he's returning to cast actually.
Yeah, I know he towards the end of last season, if I'm thinking of the right person, Bludgeon actually set off on his own kind of adventure. And so I do not believe the blanket will be returning.
Rules are wrong. I actually gave the wrong things out. I just realized I sent out the rules. Rules are incorrect on the website right now. They have been reworked. I have to type them all up, and that will be put on the website by 12 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Izzy Swizzy is asking, will Season 3 expect to end in March? We are hoping to be done around early March. Obviously, if there's some sort of major unforeseen issues that we couldn't predict, whether it be computer glitches, teams having issues scheduling or something like that, the finals, whatever, we're gonna have to adapt to that. But if everything goes according to our plan, yeah, we are going to be ending around March, and we are hoping to do 4 seasons a year now. So basically kind of a winter, spring, summer, fall season. And the time between seasons is hopefully going to be minimal. We know this past one was a little bit long, but that's because there was holidays and all that kind of stuff in between. And so by all means, don't sit there and think it's going to be a month between seasons or anything like that again. But we did have to account for the holidays and getting everything switched out. But yeah, keep an eye out. The schedule is up now, so you should be able to kind of see how many weeks there are, count out when you guys will be over, and start anticipating playoffs. Will our matches be scheduled based on each team's availability, or will it be a set date and time? Izzy Swizzy asks. Izzy, so what the teams do in this league is the captains get together and they determine what time they can play. So we do not like doing a set time for people because it really limits the amount of people that can play. And so what happens is if you are a captain, you will see who you are playing that week, and you will have access to our captain's channel so you can easily find your opponent. And you pick the time and date that you want to play at, and then you guys schedule it. At that point, the casters are able to see when games are scheduled, and they can pick up and sign up for the games that they want to cast, and they will let you know that they have picked up your game. So that way, whenever the match goes to start, you know who to report into for roles and all that kind of stuff, and they will help set up everything. So basically, you guys just show up and play. But yeah, you do set it up. We are not limiting to a certain date and time. The only time that may change is whenever we go into the finals. We may sit there and say it's going to be this date, but even then we try to let the teams have a little bit of say as to their availability, because we want them to play the best players on their team that they can.
With that being said, we are adding a schedule to the website pretty soon. So instead of finding somebody in Discord, waiting until they're on, we will be able to schedule games right from the website. That will be probably coming next or the following week.
Yeah, so just, again, keep an eye out on the Discord. We'll be posting things and the announcement as the site continues to be built out, let you guys know what's going on with that. And also, if you guys, the one thing we didn't sit there and say when we talked a little bit about casters, is if you have a favorite caster that you like to cast your matches, do not be afraid to ask them to cast for you. Again, a lot of times whenever you guys post your scheduled matches, they get scooped up very quickly by casters. So if you really want somebody, make sure that they know that's what you want, and try to coordinate that with them so that they are able to quickly sign up. Now, there's normally not any kind of issues with, if somebody says, hey, I'd really like to cast this, can I co-cast with you, or can I take it? Most of the casters are pretty good and work that out. But again, you guys are free to cast or request casters and all that kind of stuff. And again, if you would like to be a caster, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, there is going to be a meeting for casters to go over the new rules, the new overlay, all that kind of good stuff, and get everything set up because matches can officially start on Monday. Any other questions?
Well, is our mic working now?
Let me check. Are we good?
Yeah, you sound better.
All right. Sorry, I had to switch that Discord server since I'm on the East Coast. We had it on West Coast. So there will be no prize pools. Sorry, the rules have been tight for this season. Obviously, if you know last season's fiasco, we didn't end up with a prize pool. We will not have one this season. However, we are looking at personal gifts that my family actually makes. If you ask some of the community, we did send out coasters. We are also looking at some other cool things that will be handmade and designed, whether it's quilted or embroidered, also woodworked. Those are the kinds of things we give out here. So those will be the types of prizes the champion teams get this season. Sorry, we're not made of money, so we will not be handing out cash. If you have any questions about that, feel free to donate towards us. I'd love to provide cash pulls, but unfortunately, it's just not something we can afford.
Here's another question, maybe, Arch, that you can kind of help answer for us. Is Kendo asks, is there any scrutiny towards substitute players? So can you kind of go over roster changes and what is and isn't allowed whenever you are adding players to your team?
Okay, let me pull that up very quickly for us on my personal computer here. Give me 1 second. So, roster changes, guys. This season, we have 2 roster changes, just like last season. A roster change only counts when you add somebody to your roster. You can drop people at any time. It does not cost you a roster change. You obviously have to have the bare minimum 5. If you have 8 people, you can play whoever you want to play, even during a match. If you're playing one game, one map, the next map, because it's best of 2, you can pull in anybody as long as they're on your roster. Now, roster changes this season, you will not be allowed to use a roster change if that person would put you into a higher division. We want to make sure that nobody's waiting till, halfway through the season to throw on a grandmaster onto their team when they're in Div C. It just wouldn't be fair. So keep that in mind when you're choosing new people for your rosters. They need to make sure that their MMRs are within the right range of your division. You can find that out by just messaging Zed or any of us admin, and we will make sure we get it figured out for you, and we'll let you know how your sub will affect your MMR ratings.
And another question that kind of popped up that kind of could piggyback off of that, and Arch, correct me if I'm wrong, but they sit there and ask about, trades and how trades work. So basically, if you drop a person for your team, there is not going to be a roster change, because again, it's not really changing your MMR or anything like that, and you're still placed where you are. However, if, let's say, Team A and Team B want to trade 2 players, that is going to count against 1 roster change for each team because they are technically adding a player, and it would follow the same rules that we would have to check to make sure that the player trade doesn't move you between divisions or anything like that, and keeps you within the MMR range that we are hoping the divisions to be within.
Yep, that's exactly right. Also, just a side note in case this question comes up, you can't play for 2 teams. So if you are playing for one team and another team wants to pick you up as a roster change, we need to hear from the other team first that you're being dropped before we can add you to your new future team.
Okay, there's a question here that was actually asked by Cold Cake. Before the parser is completed for the replays, who do we send the replays to? I think we talked about making channels for each division to post the replays in.
Chris, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing, and again, for the time being, this all may kind of change as the website gets developed and such, but we are going to be giving captains access to a channel to put the replays in. The biggest thing that we need to know, because we can pull a lot of the information out of the HOTS API for what exactly went on in the match and all that good stuff. The only thing it doesn't include is bans. So what we will do is we will provide a channel, and we will make sure that we pin a message at the very top for you guys to reference as to exactly what we need you guys to do and how we need you guys to submit it. It should be very simple, just very much like the scheduling a game was in the past and all that good stuff. But you just drag and drop your replays from the folder that they automatically get saved into right into the Discord, and then we will pull it out and do what we need to do with them. If you have any questions about how to pull a replay,
I'll make a video.
Yeah, I know it seems pretty basic to most of us. We can help you with that. If you go right into the game, you'll see something that says Showman folder in that, but we can help direct you to where that is and make sure that you are able to submit it. It is very important that you guys do this for us. A lot of the ways that we are going to place you in the future depend upon it. The ability to get out accurate matches of the week and stats and all this kind of good stuff depends on it. And plus, should the event ever pop up regarding two teams of saying, anything from we think that they reported stuff wrong, they reported them as winning but we won, or hey, the game crashed, the whole hot server went down at a certain point in the game, how do we handle this? It allows us admins to go and download the replay, watch it for ourselves, and kind of weigh in on any kind of potential disputes. So without that, we will have an issue. Let me see. Lord of Shadow Leaves. Will all games be casted? Is there a list of certain approved casters? Assuming they get streamed, I'm guessing there's a way / expectation for them to help prevent sniping. Yeah, so not as much as I would love to say I can guarantee you every game will get casted, I can't do that in good faith. We are going to try our best. Last season, we probably had 6, maybe 7 dependable casters, and we had hundreds of games. Many of us casters were casting 12, 13 hours a week at times, making sure we get as much casted. We are going to cast as many as we can. Obviously, patrons are going to get priority over anybody else initially. So if you are a patron, obviously we know that kind of stuff. We'll be finding ways to make sure that we kind of put you ahead of the list. And if we do not cast your game live, if there's just not enough manpower to do it, we will make sure that we try to cast as many replays as possible. So you can request, let's say if you say, Smithel, I want you to cast my replay, can you do that? We will try to do that for you. The one thing too regarding streams being sniped, we do demand all of our casters put on a 120-second delay, so 2 minutes. So that way teams, if they are watching the stream, it is going to be at least 2 minutes behind what is going on live. We figured that's probably a good amount of time that if they do go on, stuff is going to move so far in advance that they are going to miss stuff. So that should help that kind of problem. But we really haven't had too many issues with that in the past, at least that I'm aware of. But yes, there is a delay to prevent stream sniping. God, I'm gonna butcher this. Mig John, is there a role for which server we have to play on, Western / Central? Arch, you want to answer that?
Arch, you dead?
Yep, sorry. My wife's streaming, so I was making sure that I could talk again. So as far as the servers go, we tend to use Pacific for those teams with the breakup with the new divisions. Obviously, use the server that your division is in. If you're on the East Coast division, and your central team, it will probably be on the East Coast side, as most teams will be on that
I
side.
think the East is removed. It's only Central and West.
Okay,
I
sorry.
believe
So it's
now.
only
Let
the
me
Central and
double-check
West now. So Central, obviously, for those sides.
Awesome. Any more questions? Anything in Twitch chat? Anything that we have not covered for you guys that you want covered? You say you're in Division A. Yeah, probably Central then. I think that would be the best call in case you're versing East Coast people. Any other questions? Going once.
I'll check more into the divisions and what people should be playing on. It will be updated in the rules tonight. I'll get that figured out right after the meet hall. I think there was something else, but let me just look into it. There was a question about some teams, why they were placed where, and as for explanations, if teams want to message us after so we can explain why they were put in West based on they said they were an East Coast team, we can look into that after. As for MMR and all that stuff and why you're posted there, you can always message us after too. Arc said that we could do that after Mead Hall.
Yeah, and again, if you guys do submit this kind of question, just be patient with us. There's only 4 or 5 of us or so that are dealing with all this kind of stuff. So it may take a little bit of time to get back to you, but we are going to try to answer as many things as we get, and keep everything going on.
And just to answer Crosby's question real fast, Lunara is permanently banned if you permanently ban her. So burn one of your bans, buddy.
Solon asks, we won Division C last season, why wouldn't we be moved up to B? Again, we're not going to go into too much regarding individual teams. If you have a question, we can ask that. But the broad overall answer is there have been so many MMR changes and team changes and roster changes and things like that, that the definition for Division C has changed significantly from what it was last season. It's broader. We even toyed around with potentially having 5 or 6 separate divisions this season, to kind of make that count. So it's there's a lot of things we looked into, but ultimately, we followed the same format for everybody, based on individual player statistics, and we made sure that we placed everybody using the same roles. So yeah, it's I wouldn't view Division C as the same Division C that existed last season at all. It's a completely different beast.
And just to pitch in on that, so when we got the amount of teams that we had this season, realize we almost doubled the amount of teams we had last season. So naturally, there's a bell curve, just like every massive survey, and most teams lied within Division B. Now, with certain teams, you may still be in a specific division because more teams came in that were ahead of you. Even if you thought you should be in a higher division this season, we had to redo every division based on MMRs, and it might have pushed you down just because more people with higher MMRs came in ahead of you. Specifically, we saw this around Division B. That is where the biggest part of the bell curve is in our league, and that's where most teams sit in MMR. So don't base it off of last season. Know that this is an entirely new season, and we redid everything.
And Wildcard, you can still call it Division Clown Fiesta if you want, but you're going to have Clown Fiesta West and East. Any other questions? Anything else that we can answer for you guys? I know it's been about an hour. We appreciate you guys hanging in with us. But we can take a couple more if you guys still got some questions that you would like answered.
Well, to answer Cold Cakes, yes, new heroes are still banned for 2 weeks after release. We're keeping with that rule. We all know that Blizzard has a habit of releasing new characters that sometimes are OP or have broken things, so they are banned for the first 2 weeks after release.
As far as MMR ranges for each division, again, we looked at it very much like a gap and things like that to try to keep the gaps minimal between people as best as we can, not so much the range. So like, let's say for example, and I'm pulling numbers, just out of my head right now. Do not count them official or anything like that. But let's say Division B, West and East. We tried to make sure after we got the top teams in A placed, that Division B, the gaps with the highest MMR, the next 22 teams or so, we sat there and separated them out and used Central Coast teams to even them out. So the gaps on each side would be as close to similar as possible. So you would have maybe about a 200-point gap in West and like a 250 in East or something like that. So it wouldn't be just straight MMR ranges, or else potentially you could run into the problem where you have, 10 in Division A, like 45 in Division B, and then 5 in Division C or something like that. So we had to really kind of look at it not only based on MMR, but what's the best bell curve split and the best way to minimize the MMR gap between the divisions.
I just got a question in general chat on NGS. So does the week start on Sunday or Monday?
So I'll take that one. So here's the thing. Our weeks, each week is Monday at 0001 in the morning all the way until Sunday night. And that is specific time. So it's Monday through Sunday is each week. We did that because teams like to have the full weekend to schedule their matches and get them in for that week.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Another question from NGS from the same dude. Is this full schedule out for the season so it's easier to schedule?
Yes. I believe, Quant, can you confirm that for us, the full schedule's up?
Yes, the full schedule is up.
Yep.
Division A has 7 weeks. Division B and C both have 6 weeks. If you go to the schedule on the website, you see the weeks listed out. You just click on that, and it changes to the league or to the responding week. It also tells you what dates and what time the week runs from. Though all the times you see on the website are displayed in your own local time zone, so there's no confusion about that.
So by all means, if you don't feel like you can only schedule this week's games right now, if you know what your schedule is going to be the week following, feel free to reach out to the captain and sit there and get that scheduled ahead of time, and we'll make that go. Speedkeeper says, can 2 teams schedule a match for the week after a game should be played? I will leave that to Arch. So I assume, Speed, if I'm reading you correctly, you're sitting there saying if teams for whatever reason cannot schedule during the week, how is that handled?
So with the amount of teams we have, it's really hard for us to track rescheduling. If it is how we've always done it is that if one team doesn't message until last minute and the other team's been trying to get a hold of them, that team, and obviously a schedule conflict happens, we look at each situation as a case by case, and if someone's found culpable of being the reason that a match didn't get scheduled, they will end up forfeiting. Now, if both teams come to the conclusion, look, we just can't get it done this week, then we actually zero it out. We won't be able to have reschedules. It's just a lot of work, and it's really hard for us to track and to make sure that, teams are ending up with 4 or 5 matches in 1 week to try to make it before playoffs. If you couldn't make 2 during 1 week, we didn't think you'd be able to make more than that for the last week. So if you can't get it scheduled, it's just going to be null and void unless someone's found responsible for kind of purposefully making it unschedulable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to kind of talk about schedules too, Ghost asked, and we did answer it in text chat, but I know there's a lot of new teams, so we'll answer it again. He asked, when will we know the dates and times for the games this week? Remember, you are responsible for scheduling your own games, so the captains are going to reach out to each other and try to set that up. So make sure you coordinate with your team, let your captains know your availability via dates and times, and make sure you get that to your enemy teams that you're going to be facing that week. Get it scheduled, and then try to get a caster. If you don't have to actively reach out for the casters again, but just post it up, and casters will let you know if they've picked up your game. But yeah, you do schedule your own games. Any other questions? Anything in NGS chat, Kozer, that we don't see, or?
I don't see anything else in general. Just people giving love to Martin for the website.
Yeah, I mean, Martin
I appreciate that.
Martin kicked ass, man. Like I said, I mean, all admins, and like I said, I'm going to once again give the shout out for Voodoo because he is not here today, but man, that guy, that admin, along with many of us, were up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning multiple times these past days.
I missed work on Friday because of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, people were calling in sick because we had no sleep. So by all means, like I said, feel free, show your admin, your staff, your mods a little bit of love, because we've put in a lot of tender loving care to make sure that you guys have some fun and have a good season. But if there's no other questions,
We're just typing in general. Let me just see.
Okay.
Let's see. Son, we'll talk to you. We can take this to PMs and talk to you after, because this has been a question that you asked. So we'll definitely address it and we'll talk to you about Dirtan's couch.
Awesome. Okay. I think unless any admin has any kind of last minute thoughts, I'll open the floor to you guys.
On our way to get off here, I just want to again say thank you to everybody. We appreciate the time and the patience. Thanks for coming and supporting us, showing up tonight. Thanks for signing up, and definitely, as always, thank you for being an awesome community. We've had our bumps and bruises. If you've been around, you know that. I'm sure if you don't know it, feel free to ask the community. We have plenty of stories that are exciting to share. Also, personally, from me, this takes a lot of time, so I have to give a shout out again to the staff and the admin because I can't do it without you guys, and we can't do this without you. So it's awesome to have you guys on board and helping us support us. And finally, to the patrons, thank you. This is not free to run, and we really appreciate the donations.
Awesome. Any other final thoughts? Gone. Okay. Again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, we know it's been about an hour. We appreciate the 119 of you that are still here. Tonight we did have a peak of about 300 viewers, so hopefully we get some new people in, some fresh blood. But, by all means, can't wait to see you guys next week, see how the games start progressing and how the league kicks off. But other than that, we will let you guys go, start scheduling your games, and, can't wait to see you.
Let's get Martin to sign off in German. That's what Snarky's asking for.
Go ahead for it.
Oh Gott, okay. Ich wünsche euch einen schönen Abend. Danke, dass ihr angehört habt. Und ja, vielen herzlichen Dank für, dass ihr Part von NGS seid. Habt einen schönen Abend und was ihr mit mir macht. Ciao, ciao.
Goes double for me. Okay, guys. Hey, thanks for sticking around. We'll see you guys in the Discord and on the website. Have a good night, guys.